hope you see the truth. This puppet show stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh, God.
Welcome to the She's So Right Show on 960 AM The Patriot. Meet your hosts, Lindsey Graham, labeled the Patriot Barbie by the leftist mob, who was one of the first Americans to defy lockdowns and open her business. After finding how tyrannical government can be when disobeyed, she became a proud advocate for freedoms and conservative values. Her new book, Targeted, shows readers how glorious life is when you stand up for what you believe in and God rewards you. Brandie Barclay is a powerful Christian voice on Faith Talk Radio, the founder of Power Soul, and a Christian life coach. Brandie, like many Americans, has seen political division terrorize this nation and wants to reinforce traditional values. And now, guys, get ready to say it more than you're used to. She's So Right with Brandie Barclay and Lindsey Graham.
Hey guys, we have a fantastic show for you today. You know that Brandie Barclay and Lindsey Graham host her show, but what you don't know is the backstory, the inside story, our deep-seated beliefs, who we are to the core. And today, I have the pleasure of asking Brandie who she is, where she's come from, what she believes in, what she stands for, and who she is, because to me, she's my friend, she's my co-host, but we all know that in God, she is so much more than that. And we get to hear where this fantastic person came from. What? I'm not talking you up. You are fantastic. And how she became so fantastic. So, Brandie, you and I met in Arizona when I moved here a year ago after cancel culture. And something about you and your energy, just God brought us together towards the end of a night, and we immediately hit it off. And I was like, "That's my first friend." I'm so excited.
I love being the first friend.
Yeah, you were the door that opened a lot of doors for me. So I don't know you that well. I know your heart. I know that you're a good person. I know that you're gracious and passionate and fun. And I'm honored to be your friend and your co-host. But I want to know where this person came from. Like, what made you who you are? What brought you to this moment right here into politics and Christianity? And
man, this is like, here we go, right? Deep dig. But you know what? I'm so grateful for Lindsey. And I know that I'm in the right place with the right person. Amen. God has affirmed that over and over and over, even when I thought I should run for the hills before I started talking about politics. I literally had a moment a couple weeks ago where I thought, do I really want to go down that road? And I already was treading there with Faith Talk. And it was almost like, how do we not? Again, if you've heard me at all, how do we not talk about the giant elephant, the giant rug that everything's being swept under? It's like, we can't breathe. There's so much dust under this rug. It's like, how do we keep going? So where did I start? Well, I've grown up here. I'm a native.
Okay.
I'm very proud of that. Arizona, when I was young, I wanted to leave. I was like, we need some culture and everything's brown here. Can I get some color? Like, I'm very creative. I was an art major. I wanted to go to LA or New York and be where the action was. Little did I know that so much of the action of where God was leading me would actually end up here in my home. And the older I get, I just turned 48. I look around and I'm thankful every day that I live in such a beautiful place that still reveres freedom. And I just love it. It's clean. It's pretty, and there's just so much that I appreciate. And yes, I actually miss traveling. I haven't been traveling very much due to the whole scamdemic. But the truth is, I was raised here. My parents were great, very simple. We lived very simple. My dad went to work. My mom stayed home. And I saw the value in that. There was part of me that's like, I want more. When I was 14 years old, I started walking to work so I could have better shoes and have fun with my friends. And I always saw the value in, if I can make it happen, if I can make a difference, I'm going to rock this sucker out. So I started walking to work when I was 14.
Both ways in the
both
snow.
ways uphill in the snow. Yes. But, I did. And it taught me a lot about hard work. I started working young because there was a need. My parents got divorced when I was 14. My mom was a single mom. She was working. I was taking care of my younger sisters. And there was a need, and I knew I could do something. So I did it. Then when I got a little older, I got married very young. Just
How young are we talking?
21.
Okay, that's not too bad. Other countries have it worse.
No, I got married really young to someone who in high school we were really good friends, and it just seemed like a safe fit. Like, oh, I already know him. He knows me. We know. It was just, to be honest, very immature.
At 21, you don't see what life like forever means. At 21, you're only looking a couple years.
No, you're like, that dress is pretty. He's cute.
Let's do
okay.
this. Let's do this. Book the DJ.
Right. It was like that. Yeah. And then really fast, I realized, we're not a good fit at all. Then I got pregnant with my first daughter and thought, well, we better try a little harder to fit together.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. Of course, again, God works all things out for those who love him, and he worked it all out for my good. Then I was, kind of this creative bird thinking, I want to go to school, but I stayed home. I didn't take a partial scholarship to go to art school because my mom needed my help. I stayed here, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, was terrible at chemistry and math, thought, how the heck am I going to get through college? So I took a break and just started waiting tables, and I met my husband now.
Yay.
Yay!
Was he a guest at your restaurant?
No, he
okay.
actually walked into the side station with the very first time I saw him. I'll never forget where I was. It's at the fish market in Phoenix on Camelback. They just tore it down. It was kind of sad. But I saw his face for the first time, and I thought, oh my gosh, they finally hired someone cute. Woohoo! He is real cute.
He's a little cutie pie.
Yeah. So, but you know what? We didn't talk for several years. I was actually still married. I didn't really care, and whatever. He was playing hockey. He was kind of a hoodlum, and I was already a wife and a mother, and we had totally different existences, And then when my life was falling apart, there was a ski trip we met on, and we connected and started being friends, and the rest is history there.
I've never heard this story. This is cute.
It actually was. He's just a really good person, and he has my back, Mama.
And God had that moment for you guys, and it wasn't like culture would dictate. It wasn't, cheat on your husband with this cute guy, right?
Yeah. To be honest, it was just one of those things of, I knew the marriage was in a bad place. Mm-hmm. And, it kind of like you have to make this decision. And, this is kind of where I struggled with the idea of, how do I stay a good Christian woman and get a divorce, and I have a daughter, and, you start to feel all these things, and you feel like you're a bad person for wanting out of a marriage. It really, to be honest, it wasn't a marriage at that point. And I had to just confront it and decide, this isn't working, got to go.
Well, that's what God's grace is for.
Totally. But I think that's one of the reasons why people stay away from God, is they think, I can't be human, and God knew we were human, and that's why he sent his son for us to relieve us of our sinful nature. Yes. But you know what? We had our other daughter, Chloe, and where this is all going is, I ended up going to aesthetic school because I thought, I'm a single mom and I need a career fast, and I need something that I can be good at, and beauty I can do. I can beautify people. It's artistic. It's fun. And it was something I know I can dig in here and make money. I'm a hustler. I can make money if I like what I do. So I went to school, and I would leave my oldest daughter all day long at preschool, go to school during the day. My mom would pick her up in the evening. I would go to work at night, and then I'd pick her up at night, 10:30 at night, to do it all over the next day. And one of the things, people don't know about me, or they assume about me, is I'm just this blonde Scottsdale wife who has a microphone. And that is so far from the truth.
It's true.
Well, but
there's a backstory.
But there's a backstory. And the backstory was, I was willing to do what I had to do in the short term pain for the long-term gain. And I ended up building my aesthetic career in a spa for about 8 years. And then I got bored and thought, oh my gosh, now what? When I get bored.
8 years. Let's let that sink into people. You spent 8 years building something that you thought was your future. Not a year, not a few months.
Yeah.
You invested. This was a hard-working part of your life.
Absolutely. And then when I got bored, I prayed for God to show me something else, and he brought me into the medical side of it. And I ended up working for plastic surgeons and building a medical aesthetic practice. And it was unbelievable. It was always changing, always moving, very creative. I mean, that industry is constantly, there's always something new. You can't get bored. But I did that for about 20 years total when I guess I don't even know, about 20 years. When I was spending all this time with women, one after the other, and hearing their stories and hearing their hearts and seeing they're doing all of this to the outside of them. They're spending all this time on beauty treatments. And inside, they're so wounded, they're so broken, they're so needy, they're so empty. And I started to get more concerned with the women behind the wrinkles, behind the Botox. And
why are you looking at me? Leftist favorite attack.
Not a wrinkle in sight.
You guys, it's not like I'm 25. I wish,
God.
Brandie, I wish I had known you just a few years ago. I could have gotten all this
did
stuff
I
for
lose
free.
my ears? Can you hear me? Okay, because it just popped out.
I want to ask you a question, too.
Okay. I just lost my... Oh, there it is. I'm back.
Okay, so where are we at in the timeline now? So you've done this for 20 years. Where are we that you said, here I am serving these women's exteriors and I'm concerned about their interior? Where is this? What year is this? A couple years ago?
Oh, geez. I think I always loved women. I think I grew up with a mom and 2 sisters, and I think I always had a heart for women and their needs. But there came this definite change of heart, this almost again, I always call it like a rope around my heart. And you know what? I think it was a sermon I heard. In fact, I really bring it back to this sermon I heard. My daughter had gone through something, and we were at church together, and I heard this sermon about the power of the Holy Spirit. And here I've known God and been saved since I was 9 years old, but I had never understood about the power that we carry in the Holy Spirit. And I heard this sermon, and I started to access the power of the Holy Spirit. I started to invite. So, in fact, maybe as a listener, you're like, what are you talking about? Okay, so God the Father, Jesus, our Redeemer, the Son, who came to die for us. And when Jesus left this planet, he said, don't try to go do this by yourself. I'm going to send my Spirit to you. And that is when you're going to be able to operate in what I operate in. Well, I started to invite the Holy Spirit to my day. And things started to change real fast. I mean, things got fun, exciting, crazy. It was like, hold on tight. But I was starting to see miracles happening in my job. I was divine after divine thing. If you guys are bored, start inviting the Holy Spirit to your day and submit yourself to him and see what he's got for you. It doesn't look the same.
People think that Jesus is boring. People look at basic Christianity and they think that we sit around and read our Bible all day and we just go to church and we go to youth group and we don't drink and we don't do anything fun and we can't laugh. We're just so engulfed in religion. And you're a testimony that, when you start stirring things up and you invite the Holy Spirit, he does amazing things for you. That's never boring, is putting your life in the hand of our God and saying, do what you will. And ooh, what's he going to do? What's he going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because you go from this idea of I want to hold on to control to, oh my gosh, this is way more fun when you're on the roller coaster and you can lift your hands up and you know who has the track.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That is a great analogy.
It's like, I know he has the track.
Yeah.
And when I started to do that, I've had some profound experiences happen in my practice. And when I was, I don't even remember exactly. Oh, I was at an event, a women's event. It was a network where I was going to build my skincare practice. And that day I woke up with a VIP ticket to hear these influencers, and I had no voice. And I thought, this is really weird. I've never, ever, ever, no matter how sick I've ever been, not had my voice. And I was like, I just knew. I had this download of my spirit, he wants me to listen, and he knows if he doesn't take my voice away, I will be like,
I'm going to silence you, child.
Shish. So I go to this event, no voice. Everyone's trying to talk to me, can't talk. And I'm watching these women talk about strategy and business and all of the influential boss babes culture. This was a couple years ago. The motivational world was out of control. Everyone was at a conference before COVID. And I'm there, and something like, it was supernatural. I went to the bathroom at lunchtime, and the Lord gave me a vision of